Spider-Man today. There's a bunch of spiders under here. Hopefully one of them's radioactive. Do you know what time it is? It's time for one run. Works 100% of the time, sometimes. The seat's got its expansion slot missing for your leg to fit better. Right here, the one and done didn't have enough power to get it over the hill, so we had to pop it into four-wheel drive. On the plus side, we know the four-wheel drive works. Me and that buzzer had a little bit of a discussion, and we decided it shouldn't buzz no more. Wow, look at that rust! Holy rust, Batman! I'm gonna miss that screw. And for the low price of $750, we can sell you our specially designed tool. Let's use the world's biggest hammer. Pull out my wire strippers.
I'm really hoping my oil pan's over it.
Drenched! 3, 2, 3. There's a better way to pull a drain pan on a transmission that doesn't get transmission fluid everywhere. Leave a comment in the comment below. There's going to be a lot of voiceovers this episode. We had some audio issues. Today we're going to be putting on Hurculiner Bed Liner DIY. As we go through this episode, we will cover what the kit comes with, what you probably still want to get, how you can clean up if you get a mess and get it, on your hands or whatever. If it's worth the money, we already pressure washed the truck. So now that we've removed the dirt and debris, it's time to get rid of this rust. No matter what DIY bed liner you are trying to use, it will adhere much better to paint, or in this case primer. Even if the bed liner says it'll stick directly to metal, it's still going to be much better bond with primer or paint. We are using an aggressive wire brush, but that's because we have a lot of rust on the bed right now that we need to get rid of before we can get our primer down. This is not a new bed. So we're using a wire brush on one drill to remove the rust, and the other drill has a scratch pad to prepare for paint. I'm very interested to see how this bed liner looks after. With our batteries dying on our drills, we're going to call it a day. Much to our surprise, it rained, so we needed to remove some more rust the next day anyway. Day 2.
Welcome back. We may or may not have killed all of our drill batteries yesterday.
We may or may not have to kill a couple of dogs that keep barking. It's okay, we're coming back with extra large deluxe batteries. When I was doing that research yesterday on the bed liner, basically, it's about 1,000 times better if it's not against bare metal. So primer, some kind of primer, metal primer would be the best thing to do. So I was thinking, what we should do is, after we're done with this and we clean it down with the acetone, we'll primer it, give that an hour or two to dry, and then come back and start doing it. Just start like this and work your way down.
With what?
That abrasive one. And if you run into a lot of rust, hit it with the wire brush. You can start grabbing some of the rags and wiping the whole thing down with acetone, because we got to get all the debris off to the paint from the bed liner.
Success, camera. Canning camera, I found a rag. Alright, now figure out how to use this acetone crap. We got this. Fold this shirt into a rag shape of some sort. This is our officially licensed rag. Don't mind it. Seems like no matter what I do, I'm always in the way of the camera. Like my table. It's officially licensed. And the broom of justice. Oh, hang on, I gotta get in these little crack areas. Where is he? We shall see what kind of paints he gets. And now let's slowly migrate this way. It's getting very hot. It's getting hot in here. So use your shirt to put acetone. Okay. That part is done. Or those two areas done. Can't step on those two. Acetone is cold. Oh look, there's Dad. About time. Okay, Dad, so what I did first, before I started laying the acetone, after I scratch everything up, is I used the broom to sweep most of it out. That's all.
And I got some self-etching primer, because according to the research I've done, even if your bed liner will stick to bare metal, it's about 10 times stronger if you have at least a primer on it. So to prepare the bare metal, we will use an automotive self-etching primer by Rust-Oleum. not a sponsor. At worst, this is a cheap insurance from rust, and at best, it makes the bed liner last incredibly longer and will be incredibly stronger. I started by just trying to spray some touch up over just the metal. I ended up just covering most of the bed. We wiped down the entire bed with acetone before painting. There are a couple of spots I hit with the wire brush again before cleaning again with acetone and primering. As this paint is drying, you might as well subscribe.
A few moments later.
Now that primer has set up, it's time to wipe down the bed with acetone again to prepare for our first coat of bed liner. We're just going to use a regular old rag to wipe it down with.
Now we've already prepped the paint.
Now they recommend you get the paint roller for this. The paint roller pan. I did not. Because you know we at Project Sullivan like to use the improper tool for this thing. Now we're supposed to mix it up, so we got ourselves a mixer on our drill. I probably shouldn't have it on warp speed. We'll turn it down. We don't want to go to plaid. Alright, now it's good and aggravated.
So is the spider.
Ooh, instructions. Perfect. We'll use that to hold our mixing stick so we don't get it all over everything.
You know, the four-wheeler that's been sitting for a month and a half.
P1, just to let you know, it is Phillips for our roller here. And it does have a pre-drilled hole for it to go into.
This paint was not cheap, by the way.
Ooh, it does have a roller adapter. We need to get all these like inside corners here where the paint roller is not going to be able to get. You probably want to start on this side of the bed and then work your way back. There should be enough here to do a full-size bed 2 times. Yeah, don't brush it like that. You want it to texture. That's why you got to dab it. Every once in a while, we're going to want to remix it. You want to make sure to tape first. But here on Project Sullivan, we make the mistakes so you don't have to. All I'm saying is we might need Hurculiner to sponsor us for that blazer build.
This feels like I'm in Splatoon. Back when they used.
Wait, it's not cool no more? God, I've gotten. Be nice if Hurculiner came in different
colors.
Yeah.
Idea, we do this for the entire outer body of the blazer too.
Not the entire, but probably a good chunk of it. The interior and the exterior.
So Dad, you ever let me drive the blazer?
Heck, let me get to where I can drive this blazer.
You can drive the blazer right now if you wanted to.
A few moments later.
Now that our first coat's applied, we're going to wait until it's dry to the touch before applying our second. If you've been watching this long, you might as well subscribe. The kit we are using comes with bed liner material to coat the bed twice. And you need at least 2 coats because you won't have the protection. And the paint will bleed through. And expect the paint to bleed through. When applying the first coat, don't worry if the paint bleeds through. The second coat will fix that. I was a little worried myself about it. If I was to do this again, I would actually perform more coats, probably 1 or even 2 more gallons, making it, you know, because it's 2 coats per gallon bucket, so it'd be 2, 4, 6 coats, and that would probably make it a lot thicker, like you would see in a professional bed liner do. In fact, if this video gets 100 likes, I'm gonna try to put 6 layers on something, whether it be this truck or the next project. And keep me honest in the comments. Remind me I need to do that. The kit comes with a gallon of bed liner. That's enough for 2 coats. It comes with a roller, 2 roller covers, a hand scuff pad, and a paintbrush. If you own a drill, a paint mixer makes things easier. You do not want to shake the can, so you'd have to use a stick by hand if you do not have a paint mixer. This is the paint mixer we used, and it worked really good at getting the aggregate off the bottom and mixed in with the bed liner material. A fantastic choice, fantastic choice. We also got a scuff pad in the kit, but it's only one of them hand scuff pads. So we actually opted to go for like a drill scuff pad set that you could just get at any Walmart or Amazon or whatever. And we had, you know, the wire brush set up on one drill, the scuff pad on the other, so we could get the paint scratched up for the primer to stick and then get it ready for the bed liner. We used an extension stick for our roller. I highly advise using an extension roller stick because especially on your second coat, you don't want to climb up in that bed and get it all over and everything else. It's just better with the stick. You're going to want at least a 5-foot stick. I also wouldn't want one of the sliding extend ones because that's what I was using, but I was also applying so much force that it kept sliding back in. It became very annoying. Didn't like our extension pole that we used. I wouldn't use it a second time. I'd use an old broomstick or something of that nature. 2-inch painter's tape is a must-have. One roll is enough. Rags are also a necessity, whether it be an old t-shirt or a microfiber cloth. Microfiber cloth is probably the best choice. But we are using an old t-shirt because we make the mistake so you don't have to. Isopropyl alcohol works well for cleanup. I got bed liner all over my arm, my hands, I had it everywhere. And the isopropyl alcohol cleaned it up really, really well and easily. Gloves might have been a good idea, but it wasn't that hard to wash it up with the alcohol. Rust-Oleum is not a sponsor, neither is Hurculiner, but they do make generally good products. One thing I liked about this bed liner is it helps hide the flaws with the bed. There was a lot of dents, there was a lot of unlevelness, and actually the camera shows more than you see in real life. It really makes it dress it up tremendously. Anybody who knows our show knows I'm not a body guy, so if I could just throw some bed liner on it and make it look good, I'm happy. We've had bed liner on it for a couple months now. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it's rained some more, but nice and clean. You can see the edges here. See, it kind of like it a little thicker, so I should have double coated it. It looks fantastic.